Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a weekly message from Jesus. If I'm looking a little peaked today, I had a heart ablation 2 days ago, so bear with me if I mess anything up. Anyway, our Father is here. He is waiting to speak, so why don't we just begin? Good morning, everybody. I've been coming to you now for, over 2 years, and I've been speaking to you about many different subjects. I want you to know that there's many more subjects that I can speak to you about. Let's talk today about sacrifice. What would you give up? How deep is your faith in me? You see, after I walked the earth, I had many people give up their lives for me. Romans, they didn't like what I was speaking. They didn't like their messages, my messages. They didn't like anything that would draw them away from their belief. But many of my people sacrificed their lives in order to follow my words, in order to spread my words, in order to follow my wishes. How deep is the conviction of people today? For many, it's still very, very deep. Many would do what's necessary to spread my words. I see it across the world. In many countries, Christians are being persecuted. That's not right. You see, I'm the God of all religions. So when you're persecuting a Christian, you're going against my words. People have got to understand that when I speak, when I give you a message, it's a message for everyone. It's a message from God. If you're willing to follow those messages, then you'll find true happiness. If you're willing to follow my messages, you will know that I am the way and I am the light from the darkness. Now, many of you out there prefer to stay in the dark. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I gave humans free will. I want them to do what they want to do, within limits, of course. I don't want them to create violence on others, kill, maim, speak against me. There's many things I don't want them to do. But many people use their free will to overcome what I want. It's a sad situation. They're not going to realize what they did until they return to heaven. But then they're going to know. They're going to be judged for how they lived their life, for how they approached their life plan, for how much they helped others, for how much love they've shown. They're going to be judged for many things. Many people have nothing to fear. Many people could even look forward to going home because they're going to know they've been rewarded for living a good life. You have many spirits that would rather stay earthbound than return home and take a chance of being judged. You see, we want everyone to advance in the realms of heaven. My angels, my saints, all of my heavenly spirits. That's what they want. They volunteer to come back and they volunteer to do all that they can do to lead people to me. Barry is one of those volunteers. He offered to come back and he offered to do all he could to bring my messages to you. You see, he's totally committed, as is his wife, Connie. They know that I am the way and the light. If all of you would help lead others to my words, then life would be so successful. It would be so easy. You have politicians that can care less about your living conditions, what you think. All they want is control and power. Many of the news agencies refuse to tell you the truth. It's sad. When your founding fathers set up your Constitution, they provided for freedom of speech. They wanted the newspapers to report on the bad things that your politicians did. Today, your newspapers and your news agencies just simply want to participate in the power that your politicians have accumulated. Sad. I want you to understand the great truth of life. The great truth of life is that God truly exists. The great truth is that He wants you to be happy. He wants you to do all of the things that will lead you on a path to Him. You see, there's only one great path, and that is to learning how you can become more like God. There are many people that want to destroy religion today because they want to take the place of religion. They want you to think that there are individuals out there that are so great that you should almost worship them instead of God. Oh, we're seeing it. We're seeing it in Russia right now. They have a leader that has completely taken over the country in their propaganda. They will arrest people that speak against him. Think about that. If you would even speak against that leader, you could go to jail or even worse. That can happen in every country. Every country can be taken over by a dictator. It's a long process in many of the democracies. First, they take away God. Then they take away truth. They take away your newspapers. They take away all means of you understanding what is taking place around you. Then they teach a single line of lies. And they speak it so many times that you believe it's true. And then you are under their will. You see, you have to separate the truth from fiction. There is so much fiction in your life today that you do not even comprehend it. Social media, that was supposed to be a good thing. Today, if people on social media want to speak my words, they are attacked by many. It happens to Barry. He brings you my messages, and then people that don't like what I say, take it out on him. But that is what he agreed to. He may not like it, but that's part of the program. Dissent is fine, but it has to be an intelligent dissent. Much of the dissent you see is based on fiction, based on lies. A huge number of people in the country believe abortion is fine, murder. They think that they can go out and murder a baby in the womb and there will be no consequences. They're wrong. There will be consequences for that. But they are so convinced by the lies of others that they will go out and try to convert people into having abortions. That is not something for which you will be forgiven. You see, you're promoting murder. Whenever you're promoting murder, especially in a situation that should be so obvious to you, then you will be judged for it. All I want is for people to do what common sense dictates. Common sense means understand what is going on around you. Common sense means following my way to happiness. Common sense means spreading my words. If the entire younger generation was to be brought to my teachings, things would be so much better. There's a time that this younger generation will take over and lead. You must lay the foundation for that generation to understand that the only way to success in leading is following my words. It's not that hard. You do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Never heard that one before, have you? But very few of you, but some of you do, and I appreciate that. But very few of you will actually follow that command. Every time you show anger and hatred, ask yourself if you want that anger and hatred to be returned. I don't think so. My words are so incredibly simple, but my words have been a stimulus for people to follow them, to do what they needed to do, to even go to death in order that my words would be maintained and spread. I'm not asking you to go out and be religious zealots. That does little good. I'm not asking you to go out and tell others that every word of the gospel is bad, because it's not. It's a guide. It's been influenced by humans, but it's the best guide that many people have available. Tell them about my messages that I'm bringing you live, like you're hearing today. I've been able to change the lives of multiple people with these messages. That makes me very happy. All I have to do is reach many more with them. There will be a percentage of people that listen to my words, that will commit to them and follow them. My words will help lead them from the darkness. Today, the darkness is trying to take over. There's so much evil out there. It is going to be very, very difficult in order for humans to control the darkness. But it's very simple. Follow my words, and you will come into the light. You will find great happiness. You will find the joy of life that I want you to find. A human life doesn't have to be a terrible thing. It can be a wonderful thing. All you need to do is listen. Listen, and each morning when you get up, say, today I'm going to be a better person than I was yesterday. Can you imagine if everybody did that? Wouldn't be long. There'd be peace in the world. There would be no racial hatred. There would be no Satanism. Oh, have you watched those people? You think they're happy? They're going to be very unhappy at some point. Do not follow individuals that lead you away from me. Some people love their organized religions more than they love me. That's sad. Some religions actually speak more of their followers and of building their power than of spreading my words. It's a complicated world that you live in. Have you noticed my messages have been getting more complicated as we've progressed? I want you to focus. I want you to focus on how simple it is to follow me. I want you to focus on all of the lies that you're hearing around you. Any words that speak against religion, speak against me, are lies. Pretty simple. So I want to thank you all for listening today. You see, Barry had no problems, and he is not feeling the best, to say the truth. But anyway, I will be back next week. I thank you. Please tell your friends. It can be the most important thing you've ever done. So goodbye, and I bless all of you as always. Thank you, Father. I always appreciate your messages. Connie and I look forward to Wednesday mornings as well. So everybody out there, tell your friends about us. Tell us about God. Tell your friends about how easy it is to be happy. So goodbye, and we'll, God willing, be back again next week.